Well, welcome back to the Kingdom Flow podcast.
We're back, baby.
We are back. Guess who's back?
Back in the
It's
seats.
Ian. We took a little bit of a break, but I guess you could call it, since this is a faith show, we have a lot of pastors. We took a sabbatical.
We took a sabbatical.
We
We took one of those.
And so, yeah, we did some re-airs of some pretty cool episodes, and it was cool to me. It really put it in perspective because the fact that, number one, we have a lot of episodes that we were able to actually go back and pull some episodes that were pretty early.
Yeah.
That probably not a lot of our listeners have actually heard before.
So soon, yeah.
Because it was really quick,
process.
and we had some really cool guests. And I forget how powerful Eddie Penny's story was. It's really cool. He's a Navy SEAL, man. Navy SEAls are legit.
Dude, they are bad to the bone.
And then when you factor in the faith aspect of it, that's another level.
Yeah, it was cool.
But
really cool.
Yeah, so we're back and we're trying something a little different these days with the podcast. We'll see what comes from it, and just from a stylistic approach. But really, the meat of it and the goal is not going to change. We want to bring episodes. We want to bring content that's meaningful to us, because we believe that if it's meaningful for us, it might be meaningful for some other people. So you are smiling, and all I see is like this little speckle on that new tooth of yours.
You like that?
It just looks so beautiful.
Well, it's not
that you
done.
got it back.
It's not done yet. I was at the dentist. I don't know why.
Were you purposely trying to smile? Because you were like smiling, like,
yeah, I was.
I saw your tongue move on your teeth.
I thought it was pretty hysterical. I have a fake tooth here, from when I was in high school, and I was getting an impression. I'm getting some veneers done, and I was getting an impression done to figure it out. And I'm sitting there, and they pull that impression out, and there's the tooth that was on top of the tooth is gone. And so I was stuck with a little stub.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and flash that picture for our YouTube listeners. JJ, remind me, I'm going to send you that picture, but you can show that picture right in this point in moment that he sent in a text, because it doesn't do it justice the way he's describing it, but it was like another level of Lloyd Christmas.
It was pretty funny. My kids saw it, and Caleb literally puts his hand over his mouth, and he looks up at me. He goes, "Oh my gosh!" He goes, "That's so embarrassing."
I'm embarrassed.
That's what he said.
Oh wow!
It's pretty funny. So they were able to. They said, "Well, can you come back, tomorrow, and we'll put it on?" I said, "Absolutely not. I am not leaving this dentist office until it is glued back on."
So they were legitimately asking if you would.
Well, they were so busy. Yeah, they were so busy. Like, "Oh, it's not going to hurt." I said, "I don't care if it's going to hurt. I got like a little nub hanging out my mouth right now." I'm not.
They thought that you might actually leave. Do people actually leave when that happens?
I'm assuming so. All the beds or whatever were full, and I said, "I'm not leaving. I will sit here for hours until something opens up.
We will wait all day.
I am not going out.
Wait my turn patiently.
Ain't gonna happen. I'd rather be knocked out, no tooth, than a nub tooth. I'd rather be missing the tooth than have that little nub sitting there.
At least you just got to cancel all your plans if that did happen.
I had to cancel meetings. It was quite good. So,
well, we can't wait. Our listeners can't wait to see your veneers when they come in.
Yeah, I'm contemplating how I'm going to do them. I don't know yet. I don't want these ice whites sitting there, but
not too noticeable, but
subtle,
different.
Subtle, but nice.
Yeah, subtle but nice. Get that $1 million smile. Did you see that picture I sent of the Dennis the Menace grandpa? Mr. Wilson?
Mr. Wilson. Yes.
When he lost his teeth.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. Is like Ian's gonna have to show up with little chiclets in his
massive white teeth. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Oh. Well, we're still having fun on this podcast. As you can see, there's been plenty of stories that we've encountered on our sabbatical. We encountered, but really today, to kind of come back into it, there's been a couple things that I thought would be interesting to discuss, to get your thoughts on, that have
Okay.
happened in the news recently.
Oh, this is gonna be one of
It's
those.
going to be one of those,
Okay.
but I think there's some biblical principles that we can pull out, as we always do. But for starters, did you see? Well, let me. Do you know the name Andy Byron or Kristen Shabbat? Chabot, Shabbat. I don't know how you say it, but it's
Mm-mm.
spelled weird.
Mm-mm.
So these are the people. So I know their names because, like, it's been one of those videos that's gone viral where this CEO and this head of HR person
I've heard
are
this.
at the Coldplay concert,
Yes.
and they are literally like canoodling and holding each other at the Coldplay concert, and they got blasted on the Jumbotron.
Yes.
Turns out they are not married to each other, but they are married to other
People.
people.
Jeez.
And it just was like, I'm watching that video, and I've actually looked at this thing, even done a little deeper, because he just put out a statement. The guy did, Andy
Mm.
Byron. And he's like remorseful. He's like, hey, yeah, I'm sorry for doing this and everything else. But he made a comment that made me pause, that I think will open up some discussion here in a minute. But he basically said, I'm disappointed by Coldplay and by the amount of publicity that this has gained. And it's unfortunate that my family is suffering from this. Something to that effect.
He's disappointed in Coldplay?
It's not that verbatim, but it was leaning more towards the fact that it's become such a public thing, and he's really disappointed by how it's taken.
What a
So
goon.
we'll pause on that. But one thing, if I actually watched the video too,
Dude, they ducked.
they ducked. But what caught my attention more than anything else, the girl next to the woman that was having the affair,
I didn't see her.
she appeared to be a friend. And what has now come out is she actually works at the same company, but she's right there. You can tell she's completely embarrassed by the situation, but she's not ducking. But what I picked up on is the fact that she knows exactly what is happening.
Mm.
And so she's tolerating this.
Mm.
She's not speaking into a situation that is clearly wrong.
Mm.
And so pause on that. The other thing I wanted to hit on is, and we typically don't talk specifically about these like current events, but I just thought it was relevant because it's same kind of deal in when we talk about tolerating certain things, is this whole Chip and Joanna thing that has also surfaced. Chip and Joanna Gaines. You remember the whole I don't remember the name of their show. It was one of the
Yeah.
flipping house shows on HGP
Yeah.
TV. They got popular. She basically brought back all the shiplap, and they were very successful, are very successful people, and through that show they talked a lot about their faith.
Yeah.
They claimed to
Big
be
platform for it.
Christians and followers of Jesus, which I'm not taking that away from them by any means, with what has recently come out with this new show that has highlighted a gay couple, these two men that are now going to be on the show, and they're receiving a lot of backlash for actually bringing them on the show. And I think they are,
Mm.
they're certainly feeling. Will they be canceled eventually by the Christian cancel culture? I don't know. Honestly, I don't pay a lot of attention to that, anyways. But
Mhm.
what it really made me think about was the way that, like, when you look at a situation in terms of somebody that is claiming to be a Christian,
Mhm.
there is a certain standard that you still have to uphold, especially if you're on a public platform. And in this case, it really probably wouldn't be that much of an issue if they didn't profess their faith and people didn't really know that they were Christians. And then all of a sudden somebody's watching this HGTV show and now there's a gay couple on
Be
there.
completely normal.
It would be completely normal in just the culture that
Today's
we live in.
society, yeah.
But the fact that they have proclaimed their faith and now they are actually promoting that, I was thinking about, not that I'm going to do one thing or the other. Like, I'm not going to not watch. I don't watch their show anyway. I don't really
Yeah.
watch a lot of TV. I don't buy their products really that they sell anyways. So I'm not going to give it a whole lot of thought into that regards, but it does make me think about the fact that it's different for them versus like somebody that's not a follower of Jesus, because they're
Sure.
proclaiming their faith and now they're actually promoting something that is completely against biblical values. And so I thought that this would be a great, just podcast to kind of talk through, because it's relevant, because a lot of people, I think this actually limits people from sharing their faith because they don't want to be held accountable to a higher standard.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it maybe subconsciously or consciously um, just suppresses people from sharing their faith and being more vocal, because of that very reason. They want to continue to live the way that they want to live, and be in alignment with culture versus being in alignment with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
Man, both of them are super sad. Um, I don't know is it Andrew, the Andrew guy?
Andy Byron.
Andy,
Yeah.
he's a CEO of some pretty large company, huh?
They're like a startup tech company or something. I didn't really look all
Okay.
that, but
I don't, I don't know that guy at all, but the fact that he's potentially um, pointing blame for Coldplay or disappointed in Coldplay, dude, you're go kick a rock. Like you're a goofball. Like that is the stupidest thing in the entire world. You're the one, messing around, and you're upset at Coldplay. I mean, I can understand maybe the national aspect of it and the kids and all that being involved. But man, if you were keeping your junk in your pants, you wouldn't be in this
yeah,
situation, right? And so I think it's terrible. Chip and Joanna Gaines, I don't watch their stuff either. Um, but they weren't just like talking about their Christian walk. I mean, I mean, it was a huge platform for
yeah,
them. And I mean, I know they've spoken on many pastor stages about their faith because of this TV show. I saw Chip's response with a Bible verse, and it was just so weak what he was trying to
yeah,
what he was trying to prove or say. Um, and so I can understand, you know, I mean, I can understand people. I mean, in our businesses, I'm not going to turn away a guest because of um, their sin,
right,
right? Let's call it what it is. I'm not going to turn away a guest because of that. But I'm also not going to, I also, like you said, I don't have a platform like they do, nor am I going to promote it, all over, um, all over my platform that I do have. It would be very
right,
similar for us of having a gay priest or a gay pastor come on this show,
right,
right? And us being like, this is okay. And so I think it's I think it's super sad. I think it really man, there's two sides to the story there. I think there's a side of the Christian community that thinks it's fine because they don't really understand sin, nor do they want to understand sin. And I think there's another side to it that is probably pretty upset about it. Um, I think as believers, though, we have to look at the word and we have to do what the word says. And man, unfortunately, not unfortunately, it is what it is that what those two males are participating in. And I heard they had their kids on it too, like they have kids.
I only saw the promo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're actively participating in sin. And so I hate it. I hate it for Chip and Joanna that they thought that was okay. It makes me wonder where they went off or where who thought that was okay for them to do. Um, but it shouldn't have happened, and it really, and I do agree with you. I do think that a lot of people don't share their faith because it will hold them to a higher standard.
right,
And this is why we do this podcast a lot of times. We talk about it internally and sometimes externally. We do it because it's one of our means of accountability,
right.
right? And it's one way that we're able to hold ourselves to the standard that we're preaching and talking about. And so I do agree with your statement on that. I think a lot of people hold back who they are or want to be because of the sin that they're having to lay down if they openly profess that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm reading in James right now, and I'll let you think as I pull up some of these verses. But this is exactly, this is exactly what James talks about to the believers that are scattered abroad. It's like this um, this faith that you profess, but the action that doesn't come or meet it. Is it faith at all?
Yeah.
It's a big question. Martin Luther wanted James to be taken out of the Bible really because of that verse. And there was other people. It almost didn't make the Bible. James didn't, because it doesn't mention Christ very often, but it's a very practical book for today's believers, for believers in general. But that's what James was talking about. It's like a man that looks in the mirror and then turns away and forgets what he looks like. That is Christianity in today's world.
Yeah.
That's the definition of what happened with maybe this. I don't know, Andy, if Andy's a believer or not, or Chip and Joanna. They knew the truth, they saw it in the mirror, and they looked away and they forgot what it
Yeah.
was. And so I think it's very important for believers today, um, that we do hold that standard, and we hold it tightly. It's important.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, we're strictly talking about this from a standpoint of how we can learn from the fact that this is the culture that we live in. So how can we take biblical principles and apply them to the culture? And I think it really just comes back to holding the standard. And that's the heartbeat behind this
Yeah.
show in general. I think probably what happened is they took a break from their previous show, and this concept came back, and it I'm purely speculating this, but
Sure.
it probably had more to do with just the financial gain and who is sponsoring that show, because those networks are very very much more accepting, the liberals and everything else, in terms of who produces these shows and these networks and everything else. And
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they did or they didn't make it a contingency upon that, but what they did, they likely had an option to say, hey, you know what, we're not going to do the show if
This is part of
this is kind of promoting this.
Yeah.
But even if they weren't intentionally doing it, they lacked awareness too, which is apathetic. So when we have, you know, the life that we, or when we're trying to live the life that we want and have accountability in our life, it's not only about holding the standard, it's having the awareness around us to make sure that it's not a facade. I mean, it could almost, somebody could probably, say it's disguised that way as this like facade. I'm just being fake, but I'm really not. And I'm not trying to play into this. I want to look like a Christian. It's not what I'm saying at all. But there's certain things that we need to make sure that we're trying to align ourselves. And it really just, it does come back to the heart. And so, like like I said, I'm not gonna not buy their products, man. I may or may not watch the show. I don't even know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I don't really give.
I don't think. Yeah. They don't.
I don't give into that. I know,
Yeah.
like that. I sent you that viral video of that pastor denouncing Starbucks coffee, for example, which is like,
Dude, people.
people on the Christians, they can do this, and when we have this Christian cancel culture, we can take it to the extreme. And like when we are just trying to, if we truly like literally looked at society through the lens of like, I'm not going to go buy a Starbucks coffee
Yeah.
because there's this siren character
Logo.
on their logo. And really, like, I've actually looked at that. Like, the sirens weren't as, now they were certainly trying to get attention from these sailors in Greek mythology, but they weren't like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a demonic thing or anything like that. And it really is like, are we really not going to, you know, go buy a Starbucks coffee because of the logo? I mean, I don't,
Yeah.
don't buy Starbucks for other reasons,
Yeah. Yeah.
but there are certain things that maybe I'm not going to show my support in, but I really don't also pay enough attention to like, it's my heart behind it is like, I feel sorry for Chip and Joe. I feel sorry that they kind of fell into this trap of like money and this next pursuit. And I feel sorry that they did not take an opportunity to take a stand, because here's what would have happened. We would have never heard about it either. We
Sure.
probably would have never heard about it. Now, maybe somebody on the inside could have leaked it that Chip and Joanna chose to not do a show because there was a gay couple that was going to be on it. And maybe, but think about it. What would have happened if that would have been what was in the news versus how it is now?
Hmm.
Like, there still would have been some divisive nature, but it would have been aligned to the truth
Yeah.
and to their biblical values. And so I think they just missed an opportunity.
Yeah, I want to go back to what you said about the facade or the Christian that tries to act a certain way, right? And again, I've been reading through James, doing a study of James again, and it's in James. I was looking at a verse where you were talking. It's in James 1 and 23, 1, 23 and 24, and it talks about the man that looks in the mirror, right? But in this process, um, when you look at the actual context of what James is talking about, he's talking about a a silversmith that is heating up this silver, right? So in between 1 and 2, James is talking about sin. He's talking about looking into a mirror. He's talking about don't forget what you're. He's talking about he's looking at being not just seer or hearers of the word, but doers of the word. And it's this concept of this silversmith that is heating up this silver, and the impurities are coming to the top,
Mhm.
right? And again, a facade.
Yeah.
Are we trying to act like Christians? No, no, no. This is what we're trying to be like, what James tells us. This silversmith is heating this silver until the impurities come, and he takes his scoop and begins to scoop away the impurities. Then he heats it up some more, heats it up some more, talking about even some trials, right? Some things
Yeah.
in James 1, read James 1, 2, and 3, talking about some trials. Scoops it away until you look at the silver and the reflection of the silversmith can be seen in the silver itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to do with our lives, and a lot of believers in this are trying to do with their lives, is allow God to purify us in such a way that the junk gets pushed away, and when really someone looks at us, they don't see us, but they see Christ.
Yeah.
And so it can look like you said, like a facade, or is he trying to be judgmental, or is he? I'm just trying to live a life that is worthy of his name.
That's right.
That's all I'm
That's
trying to
right.
do, not in perfection, because he knows that I need mercy, right? That
Yeah.
I need I have to have mercy because I am a human being, and when those moments when we're talking about the impurities that come up, I'm telling you, there's been this past month for me doing some different projects have found some impurities in me, right? You may compare my impurity to someone else's impurity, and you may look at it differently. I don't look at it any differently. I don't look at my impurity, whether like, so one of those recently have become anger. Like, there's been some anger that's arisen out of me recently due to some circumstances that I didn't know was there.
Mm.
I wouldn't look at my sin and anger is any different than that sin that Chip and Joanna Gaines, with those two, men that are active in that lifestyle. I don't look at it as any different.
Yeah.
I look at it as rubbish that needs to be removed so that my reflection can be seen.
Yeah. It's
And
good.
if and when my reflection is seen, I'm hope that I'm looking at Christ.
Yeah.
That's why I live the way I live. That's why I don't do some of the things that even the Christians in the world today think are okay. I don't listen to certain music. I don't get drunk. I don't look at porn. My wife is the only woman in my life, right? Like, I try my best. And this is an area where I'm growing in, to not get angry, to listen before I speak, right? I'm trying harder in that,
Mhm.
right? Um, and again, people may think that that's fake, and that's fine. I don't really care.
Well, yeah. I mean, what you have done is like as we mature in our faith, as we grow in our faith, the bar continues to raise in terms of expectations and standards.
Sure.
And so, maybe when you were first saved, maybe you needed to cut out porn and
Yeah.
alcohol and all these other things. But now it's kind of above that. Now
Yeah.
God's healed you from that and he's restored you from that. And so now, like, what's next?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of this life and it being a journey where there's not really a destination, because there's always going to be areas of you can tweak certain things. You can not maybe listen more than instead of speak. People are going to probably hear that and could think, oh, wow, that's the worst thing. Well, no, it's number one, it's aligned with scripture, and what that can spiral into, if we're not careful, could lead to other sin and maybe like anger in this case. So is what you're describing. And so, like, we can't compare the weight of each other's sins necessarily in who's better or who's worse. It's really all the same.
It is. It's all the same. And you said, is that the worst you've done? Well, that's the worst that I've done today.
Yeah.
But it's not the worst that I've been, God has shown me very much mercy. Right. And so, like, so much mercy and grace on me. And so, I think when we understand and realize the wretch that we were before Christ, it makes me even want to hold that standard even more because of what he's done for me and my family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, when tying it back into what I think they missed the bar there, and I hope for Chip and Joanna that there is a removal of the wool from their eyes to realize, man, we missed it.
Yeah.
And say, I'm sorry, we shouldn't have done that. Like, we shouldn't have promoted that. That's not, you know what I'm saying?
Well, this is what, like, tying in both of those little things in the news in together. It's for me, it's the tolerance. What we tolerate will overtake eventually. And so in this case, with the CEO and that of the company, the friend next to her, she knew exactly what was happening, and she didn't speak into that situation to her friend. And in this case too, like, Chip and Joanna know deep down, they know that lifestyle is not okay. I really firmly believe that. But they're disguising their decision to chase the money under the covers of this, God is love. Let's show them love. It's like, you can show them love without promoting that. So, like, but when we put boundaries in place, culture automatically thinks that we're judgmental and we're judging somebody else because we put a boundary in place that says we're not going to tolerate that. I'm not judging them. I'm not judging Chip and Joanna necessarily even. I'm just saying, like, I have a boundary. Like, I'm not going to promote a gay couple on, a platform that we have. I'm not going to promote a gay couple on this podcast.
Yeah.
Just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And we've even talked about other guests where he's like, hey, we probably shouldn't promote that, even though it could potentially gain us more followers and get us more likes. It's like, well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I care way more about the integrity of like myself and what we're doing versus promoting somebody just to promote them because they have a big following, or like it could potentially lead to some financial gain. So it just comes back to, for me, we have to make sure, we've talked about this a lot, that we have the right boundaries in place so that we're not succumbing to tolerating more, and that we have a standard that we uphold.
I know this because I know you so well, but the listeners may not know that you're talking about holding this standard and holding, some boundaries from personal experience.
Yeah.
Not just two guys here hypothetically talking.
That's right.
Are you comfortable with sharing?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think I'll protect some of the folks involved and parties involved, but no,
Sure.
I absolutely have family members that have kind of fallen into a sin where we've had to really uphold this, and specifically a family member in particular that has chosen the homosexual lifestyle. And we have had conversations as a family about how we're going to still show them love,
Sure,
but also not tolerating the sin.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done that. We've done it to the point where we chose not to attend a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
That we were, I mean, I guess technically when it came down to it, we weren't invited, but there was
But they
questions
knew,
about,
yeah.
well, there was questions about even our kids being a part of a ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that conversation. It was several years ago now, probably 3 years ago now, when I had that initial conversation that could even be an issue where this particular person was saying, "Hey, we actually may get married, and we'd love for you to be in attendance, and we'd love for the kids to be a part of it somehow." And I said, "I appreciate that."
Yeah.
And I feel like in that moment that I was very kind.
Sure.
Because what transpired after that actually was there were probably, that happened. I think it was like time of year I'm thinking about. It was like a January timeframe, and then like the February, March, April, there was like 3 follow-up conversations. They were lunch and dinners
Mm-hmm.
with our family because I felt like I needed to kind of reach out and um in this particular moment, like extend like, hey, look, like we still love you,
Yeah.
but we don't love the sin.
That's
And
right.
we're not going to promote the sin. We'll have dinner with you, we'll have a conversation with you, but when it comes down to it, what would have happened in that moment if we would have gone to the wedding is where I felt like that could have potentially, just completely cut that off, where somebody else, like, think about it. If somebody else is at that wedding and sees me and know how strong of a Christian I am,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of witness does that show
Mm-hmm.
that person in particular? If they it clouds it can cloud their judgment.
100%.
Not just this particular family member, but like I'm thinking about somebody that doesn't really know me other than they know that I'm a Christian. Oh, you see, Kyle's here. He's a big believer. He
Approve of
must be
this.
accepting of
Yeah.
this. Like,
Yeah.
this is great. He's a
Yeah.
Christian that believes in this. And it's like, that's absolutely not the case. So that's exactly why we chose to not tolerate that and remove aspects of that in this relationship to not condone,
Yeah.
because we don't. And so what has transpired, um it's sad, but because we upheld a standard and we upheld a boundary and we didn't tolerate that, we've lost that relationship with that person.
Yeah. And it sucks. And again, it's not that you don't love that person. You love them very much. But like you said, you would hope that you love them enough that they wouldn't continue in that action,
That's right.
regardless of what that action is. It just happens to be a homosexual action in this case. But it again, from the outside, from a some people may think that looks is judgmental, but really what we're saying is, hey, the Bible says want this, right? And we're going to again love you, hope and pray that this isn't the case. But if you're
Yeah.
going to continue to walk in this, right?
Yeah.
We can't seal that and approve that by attending a wedding, or again, like Chip and Joanna, bringing it back there, what they did by allowing, they could love those people,
Yeah.
right? But
Absolutely.
what they did by putting that on the platform was a lot of people look at that and go, oh, then that must be okay.
Yeah.
That must be tolerated, which then turns into a whole plethora of other things that could happen of, well, if they tolerate this, then they must be able to tolerate this too.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, if they tolerate this sin, then this sin must be okay.
Yeah.
And it just begins to be a very, very slippery slope. I rather err on the side of here's the line and I'm not getting anywhere near it.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so
Yeah,
I
that's
think
good.
that's really important, just even from this whole conversation is, where's your line?
Yeah.
Where's the line in your sand for you, the sand for you as a believer?
That's good.
Where's the line in the sand? Where is it? And is the line there? Are you crossing it? Are you teetering on the line? Or are you running from the line?
Yeah.
And I think, we need to go back and evaluate people need to listen. We need to evaluate as a family, what's the line? What are we going to hold? Obviously the Bible needs to be involved, counsel needs to be involved, and then stick by that standard.
That's good.
I was meeting with someone yesterday, And I don't mean to say this, whatever, but they said, man, it seems like your life is put together. This is what they told me. So put together. And, how did you get to this area at 35 years old? That was the question that was asked. I'm just repeating what was asked or what was said. And I said very simply, I said, I take out this book and I really just do what it says.
Yeah.
That is the answer, the God honest answer that I have.
Yeah.
My life is not put together, but this word's put together.
That's right.
So because this word, this is what I build my life on, it looks put together because I'm building it on this.
Yeah.
I am not perfect, but God has shown me very much mercy, right?
Yeah.
I have achieved some things at a young age because I've done what this word has said.
Yeah.
And it's the fruit of the word. It's not the fruit of Ian.
That's right.
And so I think that's the standard that we're trying to live by. And that's the standard that we as believers need to hold, and hold it tight.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I don't have anything else. I like that question to end on. You're gonna have to say it again. The standard. What's your line? What's the line
in the sand?
What's the line in the sand?
Yeah. What's the line in the sand? Is it my turn to close?
I don't even know.
Let's start.
We've been on sabbatical.
Do I remember how to pray?
Go ahead.
I'll pray. Father, thank you for today. Thank you again for just the word. The word is truth. And so it's easy to figure out what is right and wrong by the word. And so, Lord, I just pray that those that are listening go back to the word, that they go back to the line in the sand, which is the word, and the word would not return void in their life. That, Lord, that when they build their life on a rock, Lord, of the word, that no matter what comes their way, they're not going to be shaken.
Yeah.
And Lord, I thank you, Lord, that the word is the standard. And if we hide this word in our heart, and that if we meditate on it day and night, we will hold that standard more often than not. And so, Father, I just pray that you just bless those that are listening. And Lord, that Lord, you do what only you can do through this podcast. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks for listening. We hope that you feel encouraged by today's episode.
Help us reach the masses by leaving a review and subscribing to the show. We'll see you next time.